Your methods were brutal. Impulsive. Without honor. You can't continue down this path.
Sometimes our only choice is to walk away from everything we know.
The Mongols have changed you, young master.
The world has changed.
You are more than a samurai. He is a vengeful spirit. Back from the grave to slaughter the Mongols.
Video games have been my hobby for as long as I can remember. My first gaming console of any kind was a Sega Mega Drive, which was a hand-me-down from my big brother, and I used to play Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter on that. Shout out to him for that. And from then on, I went on to get a PlayStation 1, in which I would play, I think it was FIFA 99, I played FIFA 02, I used to play Soul Calibur, a lot of random classics as well. And then from then on, I think I went on to get a Game Boy. I'm not too sure if I remember the order of events correctly. Between a Game Boy and then I went on to a PlayStation 2, of which I think the PlayStation 2 was actually another hand-me-down because my big brother at the time was just started working. I think he just finished university, and then he sent me a PlayStation 2. So shout out to him again for that. And then I went on to get a PlayStation Portable, and yeah, I used to play Burnout, Wipeout. There were so many random games. That was also the era of Tekken during the PlayStation Portable era. So again, shout out to him. And then I went on, of course, to PlayStation 3, 4, and now 5. And so I've only realistically actually paid for my consoles for the PS5, PS4, and PS3, even though PS3 was a gift from my parents. But let me not ramble. I bring all that up just to say that I've been gaming for a long time. And so it takes a lot for a game to really stick with me and quote-unquote stand out. I came to love the relaxing meditation of the grind, the sometimes frustrating challenge of new combat systems, and the emotional draw of some of the best storytelling any medium has to offer. All of it is just so appealing to me, and that's why even though I may have games like Jak and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, Soul Calibur, like I mentioned previously, in my all-time favorite games list, it really takes a masterpiece in storytelling and being able to blend that in with gameplay mechanics to properly fully wow me. And thus, the older I get drawn towards games like Red Dead Redemption, The Last of Us, Red Dead Redemption 2, God of War 2018, The Last of Us Part 2, and Ghost of Tsushima. So while 2020 was a terrible year for me, and I'm sure it was a terrible year for some of you as well, it was not a terrible year for video games. So with the world upside down, I decided to focus on something that genuinely brought a smile to my face. I've always had this YouTube channel since 2015. I had a previous YouTube channel, I think back in like 2011, but I forgot the passwords to that, so I never ended up using it. But with this YouTube channel, I had it since 2015, and I just used to use it as a storage for all my gameplay. So I used to just always record my gameplay, save it up. I wouldn't do anything with it. I would just keep it unlisted on the channel. And so with the launching of The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima within a month of each other, I figured, you know what, let me actually give it a go. Let me actually start to publish some of these videos. And most of them, as you may have all seen, being no commentary style playthroughs, where I just play through the game and I let the audience immerse, where I try not to interfere with the story too much and just let the game play out. And so The Last of Us 2 for me was a known quantity, at least to me, and I'm sure many of you. We know how Naughty Dog throw down. We know how they deliver time and time again. And not to diminish what other developers do and what other developers have done, but I expect a certain standard from Naughty Dog. And that's what we got with The Last of Us Part 2. Because they've established worlds and stories, built-in audiences, guaranteeing success to at least a certain degree. And so when I played through Last of Us Part 2, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I got what I expected. Whereas for Ghost of Tsushima, while I was hyped for it, I wasn't sure about Sucker Punch Studios, because yes, they've made great games like Infamous, Sly Cooper. I wasn't as sure that they were going to deliver with Ghost of Tsushima, because I'd enjoyed the gameplay I'd seen, I'd enjoyed all the concepts and everything they'd shown us. But I was like, are they going to deliver to the point that we saw Insomniac deliver, Santa Monica Studios deliver, all sorts of other PlayStation studios? But unbeknown to me, the unknown quantity would have the most impact on me that year. The game I wasn't expecting to wow me, because I didn't know what to expect, was on its way. And little did I know what was waiting for me just over the horizon. Little did I know I had fully underestimated the studio known as Sucker Punch.
Mongol Empire is invading our home. They are brutal, relentless, unstoppable. We are 80 samurai against an army, fighting to slow the invasion. Today, I die for my people. There must be thousands of them.
We will face death and defend our home.
Tradition, courage, honor. They are what make us. We are the warriors of Tsushima. We are samurai! Nodadachi, go break their spirits. Hey!
So now, where do we start? From the very beginning? With that amazing opening sequence with Jin riding in the fields. It basically cemented that this game was going to be great. From what had already been a good introductory chapter fighting the Mongols. Ghost of Tsushima opens with a grand wide shot of the samurai, adorned with impressive detailed suits of armor, sitting atop their horses. There we find Jin, the protagonist, ruminating on how he will die for his country. And as he traverses Tsushima, our hero fights back the invading Mongolian army to protect his people, and wrestles with the tenets of the Bushido code. A simple mechanic like standoffs in this game takes advantage of perspective and a wide field of view to frame both the samurai and his opponent in something that more often than not feels truly cinematic. The artists behind the game have an equally impeccable reference point for the visuals, the works of the legendary filmmaker Akira Kurosawa. Ghost of Tsushima has by far the best title card reveal I've ever experienced in a game. For me personally, no other title comes even close. The music combined with the visuals was just amazing. It blows my mind that there are people out there who didn't feel anything during that scene. But thankfully, as we saw at the time that the game launched, a lot of streamers went crazy during that opening scene because it's just a thing of beauty. I got a huge smile on my face for a few seconds. Truly felt like a badass samurai in that moment. And I've watched that scene a few times since then on YouTube, coming across it on Twitter, and it's still just as epic as the first time when I played through the game. And that's a testament to what Sucker Punch Studios was able to do with Ghost of Tsushima.
Outsiders! Send your finest warrior to face me! Nada, Jinnida. I am Harunobu Adachi, descendant of the legendary Yoshinobu Adachi. Samurai! Do you surrender? Cowards without honor deserve no mercy. No mercy! Open fire! For Tsushima! Charge!
Now, there isn't much I can say about this game that you can't already see or you haven't already heard. Every rich detail is alive with motion, color, and light. From its opening moments, this world grabs you and demands your attention. The world of Ghost of Tsushima is about the journey and the small, quiet moments, just as much as it is about the destination. Some of my favorite memories are the rides with trusted allies, the feeling of the world being alive around me, and the breathtaking vistas that you can't help but to stop and soak in. So many times I would just be following the wind as I was slowly reclaiming the island of Tsushima, and then suddenly I would just stop and look around me, standing in awe of the beauty, and wondering what was yet to come. And the only other game that has done this to me was Red Dead Redemption 2. Combat in this game has a perfect balance of accessibility and challenge, a rhythmic dance of life and death that is an absolute pleasure to control. I never once got bored of what was happening. I never once got bored of happening upon a prisoner that needed freeing or a village that needed liberating. Over the course of the game, you're taught to switch between stances depending on the enemy in front of you, to time your dodges and parries, and to know when it's the perfect moment to land the killing strike, all the while never feeling overwhelmed as the game slowly adds more depth to your growing arsenal. In a medium flooded by third-person open-world games, this is now the new gold standard for how combat should feel in a game of this genre. But these encounters are when the pieces of Ghost of Tsushima are working in perfect harmony, creating some truly memorable bouts. Whenever I was running around and I would see a dueling ring over the horizon, I would immediately sit up and get excited. There are about 24 or so of these encounters spread out all over the island, and they are honestly my favorite part of the combat, always set in a unique, incredible setting. Here you fight only the deadliest of foes, and each time the stakes feel high as you try to dodge and parry your way out of certain death, landing counters and strikes at the perfect moment, all the while the epic score swells as you fight for your life and the fate of the island. Every final blow feels like a victory hard fought. Now, Jin Sakai prepared his whole life to become the man he thought he should be, only to find out it wasn't enough. He struggles with the cost of honor and the realities of war. His whole life, his very identity, had been intertwined with his sense of honor. But to free his home, it will cost him everything he'd worked so hard to become. All the moments that made him the man he so desperately yearned to be, and so he's forced to choose. And at the crossroads, he doesn't hesitate. He will do anything to save his home, fighting through the hordes to free his people, and by any means necessary. The story of Jin Sakai is the story of a man that sacrifices everything, not to become who he wants to be, but to become who he has to be. Then this game is also littered with great characters like Lord Shimura, Yuna, and speaking of Lord Shimura, he is the samurai and the lord of Tsushima Island who leads his forces against the Mongol invaders. After Jin's father was killed, Shimura raised him and trained him in the way of the samurai and the samurai code. They end up losing the battle at Komoda Beach, and Lord Shimura is captured by Khotan Khan, and that's where the story begins. And although I didn't dive deeper into all the rest of the characters, there are a lot of characters in this game that were very well written, ranging from Lady Masako, Sensei Ishikawa, Ryuzo, who betrays us, Taka, the whole bunch, all of them. I just want to put a congratulations to the voice actors again. They all really did their thing in this game. Throughout the game, Jin struggles back and forth with becoming the ghost, as he understands the disgrace it will bring him. However, he does what he must do not because he lacks honor, but because he has no other choice. He sacrifices his honor out of necessity to save the lives of the people of Tsushima. When at the end of the game, Jin is offered the chance to show his honor, he should choose to take it, because in doing so, he can prove his reasons for becoming the ghost, as he shows that he will still follow the samurai traditions whenever possible.
My family's cemetery.
The resting place of 7 generations of Sakai, including your mother.
And my father.
We must pay our respects.
I will miss this.
So will I. The Shogun has declared you a traitor.
He ordered you to kill me.
The Ghost was an outlaw. We taught our people to defy their leaders.
To defend themselves.
With poison, a gift you gave to our enemy.
I had to stop you from throwing away our people's lives.
You have no honor.
And you are a slave to it.
You are my son. Now I must continue the line of Shimura without you. I must start a new family.
And my head is the cost.
Taking it is my punishment. Our final day together. It is beautiful. last words of Clan Sakai.
On the other hand, it could also easily be argued that Jin's character arc makes him question and reject the traditional samurai values. Consequently, some may feel that Jin should spare Lord Shimura, as he no longer places any stock in these beliefs and won't let anyone else, especially his own uncle, die because of them. Throughout the game, Jin tries to convince his uncle that these beliefs aren't helping against the lawless Mongols, yet Lord Shimura stands by them uncompromisingly. Despite becoming the ghost, Jin still understands samurai traditions and respects his uncle's faith in them. For Lord Shimura, living without honor would be worse than dying an honorable death. Even if Jin has fully rejected the ways of the samurai, he should still put his uncle's wishes first. Jin became a hero throughout the game precisely because he sacrificed his beliefs to put others first. At this moment, no matter how hard it is, he must understand the repercussions of his actions. If he chooses to let his uncle walk away, granting him an honorable death, it would be doing what's right by his uncle. But even Jin himself wishes he didn't see it that way.
Honor me with a warrior's death.
I will make sure you are remembered as a great warrior, a wise leader, and a father.
Thank you, my son. Find me in the next life.
I will.
Ghost of Tsushima's finale is heartbreaking, whichever ending the player chooses. The game's stunning visuals, moving musical score, and powerful storytelling all come to a beautiful climax in one of PlayStation 4's best titles, and a beautiful send-off for a great console generation, to end with two amazing titles such as The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. How a sequel will deal with this player choice awaits to be seen, because they haven't told us what's going to be canon. If it's either going to be sparing Lord Shimura or giving him an honorable death. But if Jin's honor and respect for his uncle are to remain, then the first game should end with Lord Shimura being granted an honorable death, in keeping with the samurai beliefs. This, for me, is hands down one of the best games I've ever played. A standout experience in a year that we were able to see off PlayStation 4. It's an inspiration. So many people consider this game to be a final bow or swan song for the PlayStation 4. To me, it'll always be something more. For me, Ghost of Tsushima will always be a new beginning. Jin's journey, while predictable and questionable at times, is overall a very engaging and well-crafted tale. It's gruesome at times, hopeful and inspiring in others, but the player is always engaged, looking forward to the next step or the next battle. Jin gets a compelling arc that could have been a little better but definitely works as is. This story is absolutely amazing, and if you haven't already played it, you should definitely experience this tale for yourself and take a trip to Tsushima Island.
I am Jin Sakai, nephew to the great Lord Shimura.
You trained your whole life for this. And you have won battles that lesser men have called unwinnable, yes?
I'm sorry I failed you, father.
Years I blamed myself for his death, and for choosing to live. So I forgave myself. And him.
Jin. Help me.
What kind of samurai watches his father die?
If you stray from this path, what will you become? A storm is coming.
We should have died here together. Like warrior.
Say the prayer for yourself before I end your life.
Do it. On this blood-soaked ground, where your father massacred hundreds.
He was trying to save lives.
We can't hide who you are anymore.
Help me kill them all.
You have no honor.
And you are a slave to it.
I'm sorry I couldn't protect you.
If you continue down this path, you will be no better than the Mongols.
I trained you to fight with honor.
Honor died on the beach. The Khan deserves to suffer.
You're more than a samurai. He is a vengeful spirit, back from the grave to slaughter the Mongols.
You are more than that. You are the ghost.
What does honor mean to you?
I guess protecting people.
The darkness never leaves completely, but it recedes.
Thank y'all for tuning in. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay dangerous, and peace out. Oh, and subscribe, please.